Well, I'll start off by talking about what I told the team and after our game on Saturday, is I was disappointed and extremely sorry for our seniors more than anything. You know, this is not the way I envisioned it, they envisioned it, anybody envisioned the season playing out. And we're at the point now where we've got one game left for them, one game left for Robertson Stadium, and we need to focus our attention and our efforts on sending our seniors out the right way, and that's with a win over Tulane. So, you know, this Saturday, again, I use the word disappointment. We started off slow. We finished fast, but not fast enough to ultimately get the win. So we did some good things, and Marshall, when it was all said and done, made really one more play than we did, and that was necessary to win the football game. So, you know, I thought we handled last week well. I thought our preparation was good. I thought we, you know, handled the travel well. The weather was perfect, and you know, unfortunately, we dug ourselves a little bit too big of a hole at the beginning of that game, and we couldn't. We got back to the top, and ultimately we couldn't climb out of it. So, again, you know, right now where we're at is finishing this season the right way for our program, but for our seniors as well. So we have a bunch of guys. I said this in our team meeting, and I said this to them after the game, that have been in here anywhere from 5 years to 2 years and have been a part of some great wins with our program. They've been a part of some extremely high highs and obviously some lows as well. We've got guys from all different backgrounds. We've got guys that have fought through adversity, not only in their careers here, but in their lives. And again, our focus now is sending them out with a win in everybody's last game in Robertson Stadium. Any questions?
Yeah, so UH has been one of the best second half teams the past 6 years in the country, and Texas A&M made a similar jump this year. Can you talk about Larry Jackson's strength and conditioning program and what makes it special?
Larry Jackson at A&M, you know, he and I were here together for 4 years and does a great job. You know, I think a lot of times, and I've heard this, and I know a lot of coaches have this philosophy that I'm going to say, sometimes what you do in the weight room is a little bit more overrated than getting your players to do it and at what level they perform at. And that's something I think he, like Coach Odom that we have here, excels at. You know, you can talk to 50 different strength and conditioning coaches and ask them what their 2-hour workout looks like and get 50 different responses. Some believe in bench press, some believe in inclines, some believe in free weights. You'll get a wide variety of answers. But I think what separates great strength and conditioning coaches from good ones is that they get their student athletes to buy into what they're doing and almost get them to feel like they'll run through a wall for their strength coach and for that workout. And I think that's something that Larry has always done a great job of.
What does it mean to you to be coaching the last game at Robertson Stadium?
Well, I've had that question a number of times, and it's, you know, it's mixed emotions because I said this a while back. It seems like we just got here, and I'll say me in particular, in January of 2008, and the memories that I personally have of the stadium, you know, the fond memories of great games, great individual performances, great individual plays. You know, some memories come to mind of practices we've held over there in spring games and scrimmages. So it's mixed emotions for me, in that while I'm sad to see it go, and while it's been one of the toughest places in the nation for opponents to come in and win in, I think on the horizon people will be excited about what is yet to come with the new facility. So Saturday is going to be tough. Not only is it the last game that we will ever play in Robertson, but it's again, we're going to say goodbye to 25 or so seniors on the same afternoon. So it'll be an emotional day Saturday, and I think I can speak for a lot of people saying that they'll be sad to see Robertson Stadium come down here the next few months.
Tony, as you look forward, and now that you can't go to a bowl or anything, do you use this last game as kind of an evaluation for the guys that are coming back, or do you wait until the season's over and start doing all that?
No, we're not going to use this last game as an evaluation for guys coming back. We're going to give ourselves the best chance to win this last game. So it's not going to be, and again, I understand your question because I've been a part of staffs before where, because you're not going to go to a bowl, you look at the last game as though, well, we're going to give some younger guys some experience and some more playing time and reduce some seniors' playing time. We're not going to do that. We're going to play who we feel like are the best players and that give us the best chance to win this game.
Did Crawford Jones, did he earn the position through his play in practice, or is Pyland still injured?
Earned the position this week.
Yes, sir.
This week, yeah. Crawford Jones is going to start for us at quarterback, and it's a combination of both. Crawford's performance Saturday against Marshall earned him the right to start this week, and David Pyland is not 100% yet. David didn't practice. He did some individual last week on Wednesday. Did not take any reps Thursday. Didn't take any reps in the walkthrough Friday. So, and he's still not 100%, but. Crawford, based on his performance Saturdays, earned the starting position this week.
And is Ashworth definitely out?
No, Jacoby's not definitely out. We'll know more today. He's going to try to practice today. Hopefully he can, and literally we'll know more this evening on Jacoby's status for this weekend.
Dominic Miller, he was out for Marshall, correct? Did he miss the game?
I don't think so.
No? Okay. Maybe I misread that. He's good and ready to go for the week.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, he was not out for this last game. You said you read that somewhere?
I thought I missed the game.
He may not have played, but he was not out. Yeah.
Tony, I realize what you do is on the field, so you're kind of away from the administrative part of things, but with the latest round of conference realignment, there's some uncertainty out there. What can you say just about what you've seen publicly that's happened with Rutgers possibly leaving the Big East, which you will be a part of next year, and Maryland going to the Big Ten, and kind of the whole shakeup that's still going on?
Mm-hmm. My answer to that is gonna be 99.99. As you can imagine, fill in the blank percent of my focus right now is on this last game, and really the way conferences have been changing their members in the last couple of years. Nothing at this point surprises me when I wake up in the morning and hear another rumor. So I put, I guess with the number I just gave you, 0.01%. Into my thoughts on conference realignment at this point. And again, as I know more, certainly I'll comment more, but probably until Saturday at about 6 o'clock, it'll still be 0.01% of my thoughts.
I know these questions usually wait for the end, but if you look at this season just as a body of work, Obviously, there's been the injuries and stuff, but can you kind of summarize what you've seen in your first year in terms of some of the things you mentioned, highs and lows, to have to deal with, to ultimately it factored into not going to a bowl?
Well, I think, you know, I was telling this to somebody the other day, there's things that have come up this season, and again, I know this has been my first year, full year as a head coach, and my 17th year in coaching, but I think I've always been able to step back from a situation and look at it with a unbiased point of view, regardless of the situation, regardless of my role. And two things that come to mind with regards to your question. You know, I don't recall a season in my career where there've been so many situations come up, for lack of a better phrase, that are not the norm, or, you know, not something you typically see. And again, I'm not saying that as an excuse. I'm saying that in regards to your question, I think that everything combined adds up at this point to a 4-7 record and no bowl bid. You know, you look back on the year, and then again, when I say the year, I'm talking about this season, not 11 or 12 months. And you know, we have a coaching change at one of our coordinator positions after the first game. You know, again, we come into the season with arguably the best offensive player in the league in Charles Sims, and I think somebody told me a day or two ago he's played something like 30 quarters and has not played in roughly 15 quarters, or give or take. I know that doesn't add up to an even number, but about a third of the season he's missed. You know, we've had, again, the incident to DJ a couple weeks ago, and just things that have come up. And I think, you know, you go to SMU and you turn the ball over 9 times in every way possible. So when you look back, and when I look back on it this Sunday and Monday in depth and in detail, and go through every part of our program, personnel, staff, support staff, you know, it starts with me, but I think everything combined, you see the result at this point. And again, it's not something anybody anticipated, certainly, and not something we want to even close to duplicate next season. You know, Rob, when you go back to your question about Dominic, you know, we played a 3-man front this week, so he was down on the depth chart at nose guard. So if you were hinting at an injury or suspension or anything, he was there. We didn't get to him in the game.
Is the change of front a temporary deal due to?
It was due to no, it was due to more so what Marshall did offensively in terms of throwing the ball. Mm-hmm.
Have you had any interaction with DJ Hayden since last week? What is the update on him?
Absolutely. DJ was readmitted to the hospital late last week, and he had a procedure performed yesterday, and will be on schedule to be discharged from the hospital tomorrow. And I saw him at the hospital on, I talked to him on the phone probably an hour before kickoff on Saturday. We talked for about 10 minutes. And then I saw him on Sunday in the hospital. I went and visited him a little bit after lunch. And he's hanging in there.
Just to follow up, and I understand, you know, we don't have medical degrees, but the procedure.
The procedure was not heart related.
Okay.
No.
But it was based off of the injury, so it wasn't anything new.
It was new, but not related to the previous injury. And again, he should be released tomorrow.
Just looking back on the senior class, what are your best memories, or what will you take from coaching them and being around them?
Well, I think, you know, when you talk about our senior class, and I think of them as individuals, you know, I think of, you know, I don't think of, and this may sound awkward, I don't think my best memories aren't of a guy making an interception, or of a guy blocking a kick, or making a tackle for loss, or scoring a touchdown. You know, my memories are being in some of these guys' homes 5 years ago, and seeing them develop and grow, and the interaction, you know, we've had off the field more than anything. You know, again, I think I got a text message from one of our seniors 2 days ago, a lengthy one, just you know, thanking me and for what we've done for him and in his life, and you know, I remember vividly, like it was yesterday, myself and Coach McKinney being at his home 5 years ago and talking to his mom, and now all of a sudden, in 5 days, 4 days really, he's no longer a member of our program, and to see how he's grown, not only on the field and not only physically, but you know, more so off the field, and matured, and you know, that's I think I'll say this: not only can people easily lose sight of the role of a coach, but I think coaches can lose sight of what their role is. You know, and when you have a group of 125 young men, and it's sometimes a majority maybe without a father figure in their home or in their life, you've got to understand and appreciate how you affect these young men's lives. And again, to see them go from 17 and 18 years old to 22 and 23, and feel like you've prepared them for the next 50 to 60 years of their life in that short chapter you've been a part of, those are the memories I'll take with me of this senior class.
Looking at Tulane, what are some of the challenges they'll pose on Saturday?
Well, you know, when you turn the film on, this is a group that they've been through some adversity as well. They've got a brand new head coach. You know, they had the incident earlier in the year with Devin Walker, and you know, had to you know, much like we are with DJ. You know, they did a fantastic you know, job handling the situation, and I think it brought their team closer together as well. And when you put the film on, they play extremely hard. They're extremely well coached, and you know, I think what they do offensively, now that they got Griffin back at quarterback, again, I think they're only averaging about 39 or 40 yards rushing per game, but they throw it all over the field. So it'll be another game that's a challenge for us, especially defensively. And again, I've said this in the last couple of games, and I think you saw a little bit more of it in our game against Marshall. Once we got going offensively, we're able to play better on the other side of the football. So, you know, that's we've got to work hand in hand. We've got to put together drives. I think I saw our time of possession against Marshall offensively was around 27 or 28 minutes, rather than the 15 or 16 or 17 minutes it had been the previous game. So it'd be a big challenge for us defensively with what they do on offense. And then again, you know, against their defense, it's probably more about us taking care of the football and doing what we do on offense as well. You know, they've got their special teams coordinator had been at BYU for a long time, and he's extremely well respected, and it shows too. They've done a great job in the kicking game. Their kicker's up for the Groza Award. I think he missed his first extra point of the season. I don't think he's missed a kick since. He's 20 for 20 on field goals in the season. So it'll be, you know, you look at their record, you look at what we did to Tulane last season, and you think we're just going to show up and win this football game, and that's not the case at all. We talked about that as a team yesterday in our team meeting.
Tony, what's the toughest part of being a first-year coach where a team comes off the type of year that it had, and if you struggle like you did, just having to deal with it, because this has happened elsewhere. Southern Miss, for example, they were in the conference championship game last year and they're winless. Just to go through almost having that situation where it's almost impossible to, well, you would hope it's possible, but almost impossible to duplicate the success.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's an interesting question, because I think if you rewound to August, I think fans and alumni of any program in the country had high expectations and have high expectations, and this coming August we'll have high expectations regardless of the program. This is going to be our year, and I think when you talk and you ask about a first year head coach going through the process, you got different types of programs that are inherited by first-year head coaches. You've got, I guess you'd put Houston and Southern Miss in that same category, coming off of arguably the two greatest seasons in the history of the program, and two new head coaches. You've got head coaches in our league that have taken over, not because the previous head coach left for another job, but because the previous head coach was let go. And still, there's, even though it's a first-year head coach, there's still high expectations for that program. So, I think, again, I alluded to this a little bit earlier, there's things that have happened this year, and I had a head coach say this to me in pregame warm-ups a few weeks ago. A veteran head coach that we played against said, some of the things that he saw happen within our program this year, he used the phrase, aren't in the head coaching manual. And, I think when you get to this point in your career and you've got to make the decisions, and when I say the word decisions, on the hiring, on the recruiting, on go for two or kicks an extra point, on when do I take a timeout, on recruiting areas, on hiring support staff and strength and conditioning and practice schedules. I think I can probably equate it to anyone taking a job their first year in that position. And I've said this my entire career, and I believe it. Your first year at any job, I think, is always the toughest. And then, at least in my situation, I think you combine that with the expectations we had outside of our program and within our program. And I've said this before, and I mean it. I'm not trying to give coach speak. My expectations for our program are higher than the expectations outside this program, and a lot of that has to do with maybe more than people expect outside the program. I think when you talk about, I had a caller on the radio show a couple weeks ago. How do you address the fans that had high expectations? And the fans' expectations are that you win every football game. My expectations are that not only do you win every football game, but you graduate your student athletes. They do as well as they can in the classroom, as a group and as individuals every semester, that you've talked to them enough about character building and decision making that on Friday night at midnight they're making the decisions that you would want them to make. And that when you talk about our seniors and they leave your program, that ultimately once their playing career is over, at whatever job they seek, they do that to the best of their ability. And one day, if they get married, they're the best husband they can be, and if they have kids, they're the best father they can be. So those are my expectations. I know where our program is headed, and I have a very, very, very clear understanding of what we have to do moving forward in a short amount of time to get to where we're going to be.
What are the chances you think DJ Hayden will feel well enough to be out there for senior day?
I'm praying and hoping that he feels up to it. You know, again, I'm not a doctor, and I don't know if I see any in this room right now, but it gives you a little bit maybe premature hope when 6 days after the collision and the surgery, he's sitting 5 feet away from me up here addressing the team, and you probably take for granted and forget everything he went through, not only physically but emotionally. And again, I mentioned earlier that he had to be readmitted, but it's going to be a long recovery process, and it's literally one day at a time. So him being readmitted was not a setback. Again, it was something unrelated to the procedure he had already gone through. But again, seeing him Sunday, I mean, we're very hopeful and prayerful that he'll be able to come out and be recognized before kickoff Saturday. All right, thank you.